Their captain didn't play, they looked stronger anyway. Without Christian Pulisic, the United States beat Australia 2-0 and became the second team after Mexico to book a place in the knockout rounds. And before the final whistle had even settled, the conversation had already jumped to a much bigger question. Could the USA actually win this thing? That's the setup done. Now into the issues and the reactions that this one match set off. The biggest question before kickoff was the absence of Pulisic. A calf injury kept the USA's best player out, no training all week, in street clothes on the bench. And then the game started, and you could barely tell he was missing. Sky Sports called it further proof that this is no one-man team, with Folarin Balogun continuing to lead the line impressively. ESPN went further, a comprehensive performance from a side missing its most famous player, the kind that gives the USA real belief that a historic run is still in the offing. Through the first half, the Americans won seemingly every second ball and every contest, and Australia were almost non-existent. The fullbacks Anthony Robinson and Sergiño Dest stretched the Socceroos on the flanks, and the high press never let them settle. The opener summed it up. Balogun's pace and pressure forced a cutback that Cameron Burgess turned into his own net. What made it land harder was the context. This was a team built, for 2 years, around one face: Pulisic. The fear was always what happens when he's gone. The answer, on the night, was a 4-1 win over Paraguay, and now a 2-0 over Australia. 6 points, without their captain even featuring in the second one. Lose your star and fall apart? The USA proved the exact opposite, but this match had a second drama running underneath it. The second goal carried 2 stories. First, the call. Alex Freeman headed home after Sergiño Dest's shot deflected high into the air, and it was immediately ruled offside. Then VAR stepped in, found him barely onside, and the goal stood. The reaction was instant. As the BBC's Match of the Day put it, the US players went wild for that second goal. And the man who scored it had a story of his own. Freeman is the son of former NFL Green Bay Packers wide receiver Antonio Freeman. As ESPN told it, the son scored his World Cup goal in the same city, Seattle, where his father once had a banner NFL Day, catching 7 passes for 108 yards and 2 touchdowns, back in 1996. A full-circle family moment, and by ESPN's reckoning, the son's night even eclipsed the father's. A little under a year ago, Freeman was a barely known MLS player, handed his international debut by Pochettino at the Gold Cup. Now, after a transfer to Villarreal, he's a World Cup goalscorer, and still sounded slightly stunned by it. He said it was hard to take it all in, but that going through these challenges this young would only make him a better player. Pochettino, who handed him that debut, could only marvel at the evolution, calling Freeman a humble player with an amazing profile who always wants to learn. A VAR twist and a family fairytale in one night. For the USA, it couldn't have gone better, and that's when the mood got hot, maybe dangerously hot. 2 wins in, and the word on everyone's lips was win. Zlatan Ibrahimovic said it plainly: the USA have a chance to win the World Cup. And it wasn't just an outsider talking. US defender Chris Richards agreed it's not a ridiculous idea at all. Even Pochettino, criticized for much of his nearly 2 years in charge, soaked it in. Standing in front of American fans chanting his name, he said Argentina has amazing fans, but he thinks his side is matching them. But there was a colder voice in the room, too. World Soccer Talk pointed out that for all their first-half dominance, Pochettino lost control of the match in the second half. And it flagged that as a genuine concern heading into the knockouts, because Australia did come back into it. Talk of winning the whole tournament is loud. The reminder is that even tonight, the USA weren't flawless for 90 minutes. Still, the bigger picture is hard to argue with. Pochettino spent much of his nearly 2 years under fire for inconsistent results. And here he was, clinching a knockout spot with a game to spare for the first time, his press finally clicking, doing it without the one player everyone assumed the team depended on. ESPN's read was simple: a team missing its most famous player just delivered its most convincing statement yet, with the best of it, Pulisic's return, still to come. Belief and warning, landing at the same time. So what did it look like from the other side, inside the Australia camp? Australia manager Tony Popovich took the loss on the chin. We didn't match that in the first half, he admitted. We found it difficult to win a challenge, to win a second ball. We were slow to every ball, and we couldn't wrestle back any momentum. To his credit, the second half was different. He threw on 3 at the break, including Nestori Irankunda, who'd scored in Australia's shock opening win over Turkey. The Socceroos took control of the ball, and even World Soccer Talk noted how much they improved. They just never turned it into a clear chance, and goalkeeper Matt Freese was rarely troubled. On the other bench, there was an intriguing call too. With Pulisic out, Pochettino went with Ricardo Pepi rather than a like-for-like replacement, a surprise that paid off in a relentless frontline press. Here's where it leaves things. The USA finished the night top of Group D. And a few hours later it became official. Paraguay's 1-0 win over Turkey locked up first place for the USA and eliminated Turkey. It's the first time the USA have won their World Cup group since 2010. And after the Paraguay and Australia wins, their first back-to-back World Cup victories since 1930. Next comes a dead rubber group finale against Turkey, and then a round of 32 tie on July 1st at Levi's Stadium in Santa Clara, opponent still to be decided. The expected return of Pulisic looms over all of it. Australia, meanwhile, stay alive and play Paraguay in their finale with advancement still possible. One side is through, the other clings to one last chance, and the USA haven't even played their biggest card yet. So here's where it lands. Without Pulisic, the USA beat Australia 2-0 and reached the knockouts behind only Mexico. Balogun led the line, Freeman delivered a VAR-cleared goal wrapped in a family story, and Pochettino turned years of criticism into a stadium chanting his name. But that second-half slip is the homework to fix before anyone seriously talks titles. Group D is already won. Now, the moment Pulisic returns, this team's ceiling climbs higher. With home advantage and momentum behind them, their best result this tournament is the deepest knockout run in their modern history. But if the second-half defending we saw tonight repeats, that run ends in the round of 32 at Levi's Stadium, or the quarter-finals. A win without the captain, and a title conversation already started. The USA's real test begins the moment Pulisic walks back in.